Hey everybody, it's Nick here from Hotspawn, and I am joined by FLY Massu, another one in my attempts to collect every single Canadian who's involved at the event. You're the last of the players that I needed to get for an interview because I guess coaches included. I've gotten Dylan Falco, I've gotten JoJo, and now we've got you.
Okay.
So after this, I'm hunting down Razs and Azale.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure that we get all the Canucks. So
Yeah.
we'll start with some more lighthearted questions. We can get into the series, but I figure start a bit goofy, fun way to start it. So there are 5 Canadians at the event. That's you, JoJo, Raz, Azale, and Dylan. Do you think that you and JoJo could carry those 3 out of play-in stage if there was like a Canadian national team?
Out of playing stage against like other pro players?
I don't know. Like how hard do you feel like you could carry Raz, Dylan, Azale? By the way, for some reason, I'm not sure why, Raz shows up on the pro player from Canada list.
Oh,
Azale
really?
doesn't. So I don't know if Raz is just cracked. And
I mean, he might have a secret account, but I don't think we could carry them, unfortunately.
You got any suspicions? Like, what do you think Raz's secret account would be? Like, what is Raz main on his like secret 10,000 LP challenger account?
I don't know. He seems like a Zinzao kind of player.
Okay. Hell yeah. So, we were just talking about this. You didn't get the chance to go home, but obviously this is and I've been talking to other Canadians about this. This is the first time in 8 years that LoL Esports has come back to Canada. The last time that it happened, it was same arena, same place, 2017 Spring LCS Finals with the famous Jensen Chrono Break, goes in on Echo with Zhonya's and ult, fires neither in the 5th game against TSM. So I want to know, rewinding all the way back to 2017, spring of 2017, what were you doing in relation to League, and what do you think 2017 you would say if, fast forward 8 years, he sees you here at MSI doing what you're doing? What do you think?
I don't know. 2017, I would have been in middle school. So
you and JoJo both make me age rapidly when you tell me how old you were during 2017. I was in college in the audience. So you're
an OG.
Be kind, bro, all right?
Yeah, I would have either been in school or at the time, back then I used to play a lot of a game called Rocket League.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I thought I would go pro in that game. So, that's what I would be doing for what I would think. Honestly, I think I would be super shocked that I'm a pro right now. I would be super proud of myself, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think you'd be like, what, bro? Were you like just too washed at Rocket League?
Rocket League? I don't know. I was like 13. I hit like the 2nd highest rank.
I mean, hey,
and then
that's pretty impressive.
Like I saw what the pros were doing, and I'm like, I'm just not doing all that.
All those like freestyling, dribbling videos. Yeah,
I'm just not doing all that.
I've seen some edits and stuff. Well, that kind of brings up an interesting question. I mean, like I was talking with Mkoy Mirwin about this a little bit, and we just about like the other games he plays and he likes, and we went off the rails talking about like it turns out that he's a huge PvE mode lover. Like last year when Star Guardian Swarm came out, he just didn't play any solo queue and just played Swarm. And he was like, I maybe should have been a little bit more diligent.
No.
What are other, probably you don't have time for them right now, but like in the off season for fun, are there other games that you play or enjoy or that you've like before you got all in on League that you were pretty cracked at, apart from Rocket League?
Yeah, I guess whenever I have like downtime in the off season or something, usually Overwatch is a game I would go back to here and there.
Hell yeah.
I used to play that a lot and I really like it.
Yeah. Big hero shooter guy kind of?
Not really. Overwatch was my first one, and I think it was my only one, other than Marvel Rivals, which I tried for a bit.
Okay. Who are you playing Rivals?
I played Strange when the game came out.
Okay. So wow. Okay, so you're a Chad for playing the tank, because like let's be clear, if you play any amount of Rivals, people don't play tanks in that.
Oh
game.
Really?
Oh yeah. At least like in quick queue, you have to psychologically manipulate them and be like, I don't know, like second tank please, ooh and Chad or whatever. Like you got to really get in there.
Yeah.
Any others?
And then I like single player story games sometimes. I play like Little Nightmares. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah, of course.
I've played some horror games with my friends here and there.
Nice. Hell yeah. So now we'll get off of the most relevant stuff and we'll talk about the League of Legends that's being played here, since apparently we have to. 4-game series against AL. You guys came out of the gate incredibly strong. You like back here we were talking about like it seemed like you got the Exodia comp. You just kind of draft gapped them. Game 1. Let's talk about that first. What went so well for you guys game 1? and what were the replicable elements that, looking forward, you want to be able to transfer into series against other teams? Like, what are the things that you're like, in that game, we nailed that, and we can repeat that in other series to find more success?
I think in game one we just punished the enemy really well when they were doing stuff that they were not supposed to do.
Sure.
I think Inspired was really sharp on Pantheon. I think he was very cognizant of the angles that the enemy team can do and what they can't.
And Fog of War. He was doing a lot of starting a fight, dipping out, and then ulting in behind them.
Yeah, exactly. So then, for example, when the Xin Zhao contested Crab at 10 minutes, when he had no flash and no ult, I think usually on stage, first game, especially against an Eastern team, we would feel a bit nervous and kind of just give them that advantage. But then he instantly caught on. He said he was going to ult there and that there was going to be a team fight. So we were just really sharp on our engages, on our advantages, and kind of how we wanted to fight.
Yeah, for sure. We don't need to talk too much about game 2 because, truth be told, I think there were just some incidents in that game. I am basically a Yorick one trick, and the Mordekaiser matchup is 57% worldwide in Challenger. So some things happened, some abilities were missed, and that game feels like it just sort of snowballed out of control from there. So game 3 and game 4. Actually, let's do game 3 first. Your thoughts on game 3, and then I've got some questions about some draft stuff from game 4.
Yeah, game 3. Honestly, I really liked our comp. I thought it was very good into the enemy team. We outranged them. We can play slow. We can play fast. We can decide to one-shot someone, or we can decide to gold card and then wait for another set of rotations. And we had good lanes.
Yeah.
And then I feel like in some fights maybe we went too deep. I feel like, especially in the first fight that happened around their blue buff, we just kind of didn't execute well. Busio didn't flash to give Viego the possession, which I think could have turned that entire game around, because I think if Viego did get that reset, he probably would have wiped everyone.
Yeah, one resets a whole new set of abilities and tools that you add to the fight. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, that
so
totally makes sense.
I think the first team fight was really unlucky, or just mis-executed by us.
Yep.
And then even after that, I think we found some pretty good fights. We played well, but the Azir was really strong, and I think maybe we just didn't execute well on our fights.
Yeah, I think there were also just a couple fights where a couple people transited through the same choke at the same time and got caught with, especially with there were some Azir shuffles there that just clip one person as they're pathing somewhere else.
Yeah.
So backstage there is, I'll shout him out. There's an NA Challenger player, Sam is Duel, ADC player, who's been providing me with some sort of my strategic insights, because I peaked a high plat, low die, so not that good. And we were discussing sort of the match, and one thing that we were talking about was coming out of the second set of bans, or going to second set of bans. It seemed to us like the thought process going in the draft, and we could be totally wrong here, was that you expected them to ban Poppy because they had drafted 3 conditional, Ambessa, Lucian, Leona, 3 people who rely on a dash to get in. They didn't ban it and then picked it. Really, I'm just interested to know, did you guys have your eyes on Poppy? Were you expecting them to pick Poppy, or were you expecting to do it? Because it seemed like Poppy kind of countered both comps and did a lot of work in that game, just even just the Poppy W, just how much space it held.
Yeah, I mean, without revealing too much yet, because we're still in the tournament, we were definitely thinking about Poppy.
Yeah.
We didn't think they would ban it, but the conversation kind of led away from it at some point, and we ended up just deciding to give it.
Going in a slightly different direction.
Yeah. So,
and you don't need to get too detail-oriented. Yeah, I think that's good. You're aware of Poppy in the draft.
Yeah.
The conversation moved away from it, and then you didn't expect them to ban it, and so All right. So it is going to be you versus G2, and I'm not sure if you realize this, that on the 4th of July. So it's going to be NA versus EU on American Independence Day. I know that for us, we just had our Canada Day, so not quite the same, but I figure Busio might be a little bit more excited. What do you think of G2, how they look right now, and what do you think of that matchup?
Honestly, G2, I think when they're all in form, they're a pretty good team. I think they have very solid players, and they're all consistent. I think
Do
right
you
now,
think they're in form?
No, yeah, that's the thing. I think right now they're struggling quite a bit. I think if Caps doesn't do well in the game and he doesn't have angles to make something happen, then they kind of crumble.
Yeah, if it's not like Game 5 Yone Caps, they look very different.
So I guess it depends who shows up on the day, but I do think they're still a strong team.
All right, awesome. Next question, again, lighthearted, doesn't have anything to do with pro play. Riot has been doing, obviously, these themed seasons. You go to Noxus, the map changes, you get a mini game, some skins. Then next season, you go to Ionia, same thing. My question is, Riot has said, A, it can be like a country from League of Legends' world, Demacia, whatever, or it could be a skin line that eventually they'll theme it after, like Star Guardian, High Noon, whatever. If you could choose the theme for a season, like, what do you think would be a cool look for Summoner's Rift to have?
There's a lot of cool lines.
Yeah, there are.
I think Dark Star would be pretty cool,
yeah.
especially because I already play with my brightness kind of lowered than the usual.
Oh, sure.
So I like having less light on my eyes. So Dark Star would be pretty cool.
All right, sweet. Yeah, so then looking at the upper bracket match that is being locked in here with this, we have a pretty crazy matchup we have GenG versus AL in the top bracket. Do you have any thoughts on who you think is going to come out on top there? Because both of them, frankly, the series kind of look the same in that they both game ones, they give up an Exodia comp, they lose very one-handedly, and then they win the next 3 games. So the question is, who do you think is going to win, and do you think both teams can give up the Exodia comp to each other in game 1 to try to keep the pattern up?
I mean, they might, but I think both teams are very strong. I think it could honestly go either way. I'd be surprised if it's a 3-0 for either team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, honestly, I could see either team winning. I just hope it's like 5 games, which I think it could be if both teams are playing well. So, but if I were to pick one, maybe for now I would say AL win, maybe like 3-2.
Yeah.
But I think it's very close. I think
they beat you guys, so they've got to be crazy, right? They've got to be crazy. So the last question is just, there was a very lovely little segment at the start where we got to see your family here supporting you. Obviously, you're very busy, but you said you didn't get the chance to go home. You going to get the chance to go out to dinner with the folks, hang out, or are you just too caught up in the MSI schedule?
I think that might be tough to do. It just depends on how my schedule opens up. But right now we have scrims in the morning, scrims at night.
Yeah.
We have a lot of practice, so they know that as well. So and they understand. So I'm prioritizing that for now.
Absolutely.
And then just
you'll hang out with them after the event.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Massu. Really appreciate you taking the interview, man.
Thank
Cheers.
You.